When I took admission in my BA course and started reading books from my syllabus, I found that there are some books which were considered classics and I used to be very scared and intimidated by them. I thought of myself as a stupid person who would never be able to understand what is in them. Up until then, I was mostly reading contemporary literature, and whenever I came across a book that was considered a classic, I always thought of it as an impenetrable tome of words and ideas that will require a dictionary and years of experience as a literary postgraduate. Some classics require those, but they are not always intimidating and scary. Looking back, I can only laugh at my naivety. If you are also like me and are intimidated by these books from the past, you have come to the right place. This is a beginner's guide to classic literature, and as a lifelong student of literature, I want to make sure that you also develop an affectionate relationship with classic literature. These classic books are as witty, sarcastic, and sad as your contemporary literature. They also tackle big ideas and talk about human condition, which usually are just as relevant as contemporary literature. Even though they were written decades or in some cases many centuries ago, you will be surprised at how modern they feel. Before I begin, hello and welcome to School of Literature. I am Monika, and today we will take a deep dive into classic literature. I will also give you a few book recommendations that will make you fall in love with reading classics. I will break down what makes a classic, what is the canon, and show you that classics are more than just old works of British literature. So let's begin. So what is a classic? For literature students, it is very easy to answer. You just have to look at your syllabus and you will find many classics. But those are not the only works that can be called classics. Think of a classic book as your friend with whom you love spending time. No matter which phase of life you are in, that friend will never lose their charm. In fact, that is a determining factor between a good friend and a best friend. Classic literature is also like that. You read a book from the past, you find something in it which makes you fall in love with it, that book then becomes your own classic literature. When many people feel the same connection with a book, that is when it becomes a classic literature for academia. Another determining factor is that a classic literature has withstood the test of time. What I mean by that is its relevance and popularity has not faded with time. These books have enduring themes and universal appeal. They talk about love, death, and all the big questions we all have. Along with these, classic literature still influences a number of books even today. They have continuity and consistency. It is not like a movie you watch once and forget all about it soon. Classic literature sticks around, creates traditions, and shapes culture even if the creator has passed away a long time ago. You can think of classic literature as an onion. You can keep peeling its skin, but you will always find more layers underneath. They disrupt the norms of their times and sometimes even ours. They paint such a vivid picture of their time that we remember an entire era after them. Think of the roaring 20s of F. Scott Fitzgerald or Jane Austen's Regency England. Through these works, you will not just understand that era, but you can also define it through them. Sometimes, a classic might be the first of its kind. Like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is considered the first science fiction, or Samuel Richardson's Pamela the first romance novel. These books are so powerful that their ideas and expressions become a part of our everyday culture. If you are familiar with the Big Brother or Big Boss show, you must know what I am talking about. The show's idea was taken from George Orwell's 1984, where there is no sense of privacy, as Big Brother, the character and symbol in this novel, is constantly watching the people of Oceania. Now that you know what is a classic, it is equally important to understand a term associated with it. This term is literary canon. Before explaining what a literary canon is, it would be better if you have understood the term canon. Canon is a term that has become pretty political over the years. At its core, canon is actually something we all do naturally. You know how when you are faced with a new task, you might think, what would your role model do here? This is basically what a literary canon is for books. The word canon comes from an ancient Greek term for a measuring rod that is used by a carpenter or weaver. Picture a carpenter sizing up a piece of wood. That is how a literary canon also works. It is like a yardstick for literature. When we talk about the literary canon, we are talking about a collection of books that are considered the cream of the crop. They are the gold standard against which other books are measured. It is like saying, if you want to know what great literature looks like, start here. For example, Shakespeare's Hamlet is part of the canon. If a text follows following a similar theme does not measure up to Hamlet, it might not make the cut for this canon club. But a literary canon is not set in stone. It keeps changing and evolving with time. It is like your music playlist that you might not relate to a few years from now. For a long time, the literary canon was a white exclusive club. It was mostly British white men who were part of this canon. Then British white women were included, but now the literary canon includes diverse voices from diverse regions. Even then, it would be unfair to say that literary canon and classic literature have become a part of a utopian world which is all inclusive. In an attempt to broaden this discussion, in this video, I have brought 5 classic recommendations for you. My list is in no way perfect and I cannot do justice to classic literature by just 5 recommendations. But it is a start and I think that matters more than having never begun. My first recommendation for this video is Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Ernest Hemingway once said that all modern American literature comes from this one book. This book is set in pre-Civil War American South of the 1800s. This was a time when slavery was still legal in America. In the novel, you have the adventures of 2 very unlikely friends. Huck is a white boy who has run away from his home and Jim is a black man who has escaped slavery. The time period of this book is very important as it shows an America that was deeply divided. This book uses some words that should make you feel uncomfortable and because of it, it was also banned quite a few times. While the language might seem problematic, for me, it actually showed the reality. You will see Huck questioning everything he has been taught about slavery. When I first read it, this book helped me in seeing how ridiculous racism is from a perspective when it was still legal. My next recommendation is The Palm Wine Drinkard by Amos Tutuola. I do not have a copy of this book as it was really expensive for me then and I used to read many books from the internet archive. This book is based on Yoruba folktales. Yoruba is one of the largest ethnic groups of Nigeria. When this book was first published in 1951, it caused quite a stir. The famous poet Dylan Thomas loved it, but people with Eurocentric views hated it and called it primitive, lazy, and even barbaric. But this book was way ahead of its time. Today you will find novels incorporating elements of magic realism, which is a blend of supernatural and reality. Although I have never liked this term, you will find this concept employed in this novel. This book is about a man who loves palm wine so much that his father gets him a farm of palm trees and hires a special palm wine tapster just for him. Soon you will find that the tapster falls from a tree and dies. The man misses this tapster so much that he decides to bring him back from the land of the dead. What happens after that is for you to find out. You will see all sorts of weird and wonderful creatures who would perform impossible tasks. The language of this book can be a bit challenging in the beginning. It is not your usual English but the Yoruba English. But once you get the flow of the language, you will surely enjoy the story. My next pick is an 18th century book from China. It is Dream of the Red Chamber by Xueqin. This book is nothing less than a time machine. The central character of this novel is Jia Baoyu. In Imperial China, he is surrounded by beautiful smart girls doted on by his grandmother and constantly in conflict with his father. He is dealing with growing up in a grand but troubled Beijing household. If you have read or know about War and Peace, let me tell you that this one is much bigger in comparison to War and Peace, and it is also very difficult to get a hang of. But you need not be scared of it. I see it like a Netflix series. Every year I would just read one book from this series and this way I was able to give it the time it requires. You might feel like binge reading or like me, you might want to take it slow. Do what you feel and savor it episode by episode. Even Mao Zedong, who was the founder of People's Republic of China, was believed to be a fan of this book. He even claimed to have read it 5 times and thought everyone else should too. At first, it might feel very difficult. There are about 40 main characters and their names might seem tricky if you are not familiar with China. Even though there is a family tree in the Penguin edition of this book, I would strongly suggest that you make your own. Maybe you can make a rough diagram of the compounds mentioned so that you can picturize this book in your mind. I know it sounds like a lot of effort and trust me, it is. But for me, it was well worth it because I don't think anything can come close to describing Imperial China better than this book. My next recommendation is a very short one to make up for Dream of the Red Chamber. It is Sultana's Dream by Rokeya Sakhawat Hossain, which was published in 1905. This story builds a dream vision of a feminist utopia. It flips patriarchy and talks about a woman-dominated world. The main character Sultana is used to practicing parda and kept in a separate part of the house called Zenana, where men are not allowed. When Sultana comes to a place called Ladyland, she is reluctant to go outside as she thinks it is unsafe for women. This story is about the new land and how Ladyland is a place that is not just safe for women but also run by women. There is even a Uno reverse card here, where in this utopic world you will find Mardana, a space for men like Zinana. On the surface, it might look like this story is against men, but it is just a mirror to society and how ridiculous social norms are. It is a quick read and one that will stay with you for a long time. My last recommendation for this video is Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. It is one of the earliest English novels in its modern sense and also among my favorites. This book is in no way a quick read. You need to take it slow if you want to cherish it truly. In fact, it took me around 5 months and I do not regret it even a bit. Again, the writing style might be challenging in the beginning. The book was published in the 18th century and it will read like one. Tom Jones is about Tom Jones, who is a rogue of the first order. He always gets into trouble but somehow manages to charm his way out of it. This novel has it all: mistaken identities, scandalous affairs, long lost relatives. The narrator of this story is equally important and has a character of his own. He was a bridge to the novel's time period and mine. He will come several times and crack jokes, give his 2 cents on anything he wants, and ask you to use your own imagination. This novel is daunting and challenging, but have faith in my recommendations and pick this one. It was certainly the best decision of my reading life. It is a kind of book that will remind you why we read in the first place. Classic literature is not easy to read. When you begin, you will find more reasons to quit than to continue reading. I have been through this struggle myself, but over the years, it has become easier and even enjoyable to read classic books. If you want to read classic literature and get the most out of it, here are some tips. The first issue you will face while reading a classic is its challenging language. Language has evolved a lot over time, and when you pick a book even from decades ago, you will find that the language is very difficult to understand. But the trick here is not to get hung up on every word and try to get the gist of what is happening in the story. If you come across a completely new word, jot it down and look it up. The process is somewhat like learning a new language, but much easier since you already know the language. Once you get a grip on the language, you will really appreciate the writing and see firsthand how language has evolved over time. Another problem with reading classics is the unfamiliar context. The past often feels like a different country. The characters do things differently there. Just like our language, our surroundings and our culture has also changed a lot over time. You can overcome this by thinking of it as time travel through books. If you are feeling lost, there are a lot of resources online to help you understand the historical and cultural background. You can also pick an annotated version of the book if you want to have a smart friend whispering explanation in your ear as you read. One thing you must keep in mind is that classic books will take a lot more time than your regular reads, so you have to read it at your own pace. There is no race here. Take your time, savor the words, and let the story sink in. If you need to reread a paragraph or a chapter, go for it. Reading classics is more about the journey than the destination. If you are just starting out, you can always start with short classics. You don't have to jump straight into War and Peace. You can try novellas or short novels, and initially, you should pick a genre that you love. If you are into romance, you can read something by Jane Austen. If you like science fiction, you can read something by H.G. Wells or even Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. There is always a classic for every taste. You can also find a classic with a good adaptation. Sometimes watching a movie or TV series based on a classic can help you get into the story. If you do that, you will have a map before you explore the new city. And please don't forget about short stories. Many great classic authors have written excellent short stories. You can read a short story to get the essence of their style in a bite-sized package. You need to always remember that reading classics is not a about impressing anyone. It is about discovering great stories and maybe learning something new about the world or even yourself along the way. So grab a book, get comfortable, and start your classic adventure. Trust me, these old books have some amazing stories to tell. I think I need to wrap up now as the video has gone on for long. I can still keep blabbering, but I will spare you now and save my blabberings for another video on this topic. Despite this long video, I have only been able to barely scratch the surface of classic literature. There are classic books from every era, every culture, and every genre you can think of. You could spend a lifetime reading just the ancient Greek epics. I think we should be grateful to the fact that there are so many books that we don't have to worry about not having anything to read, and the fact that our lives are finite makes me want to read only those that truly captivate my attention. I have linked a video with easy reads in the description box below. Let me know what your favorite classics are and if you have read anything I mentioned in the video. Always remember that reading classics is not about impressing anyone or ticking boxes on some arbitrary list. It is about discovering new words, ideas, and maybe even new aspects of your own life. I will see you in the next video. Till then, keep reading and keep learning.